of 2 or 3, but I think I left it over in the thaumaturgery last time. Oh no. No, 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 no. No. Mumford, your rabbits. They're everywhere. Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny, can you tell me, how did there get to be so many of you?
Oh, that's easy. If there's one thing us rabbits can do, it's multiply.
Greetings, Minecrafters! Nonsanity here, and welcome to episode 28 of my Resonant Rise 3 Let's Play series. Today, we're going to start with a little bit of Applied Energistics, an update from last time, which I recorded in the past, so we're going to get a little bit of help from past me and then do some other stuff. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you might notice is that there's some missing things. Our nice pretty yellow boxes with the moving doors are gone. That's because we've got something better now, and that's right here. But to explain it, I'm going to send you back to past me to show you the difference between what we had here and what this does. So take it away, past me. Thank you, future me. Well, here we are in the past, and not that far in the past. I mean, no dinosaurs. I like these things. These things we made last episode. This is the output? No, this is the input. This will drain... Which one is this? This is the... I've forgotten which one is which. Alright, these are the exports. So this is the output. It'll output into a DSU, and then over here it'll import into a DSU. So, yeah, they're sort of nice. They'll let you get everything out of storage of a certain type into a DSU, and then you can load it back into the system, into the drives again. And if you've loaded it into a DSU, you can then put it up on the shelf, and that works pretty well. One of the commenters, Akira Yashi, I think so, suggested using the I/O port. And the problem using that is... you put a cell into it. So I'd come over here and I'd pull out one of these cells, put it into that, and tell it to export it all back out into the system again. And if I have one of these set up for material, like I do up here, I've got this one set up for essence of shards, because I have a lot of those. So I just set that up, gave it a priority of 10, so now I can actually click this, and so it's going to display, and I've got a DSU on me. So normally I'd come down here, stick it in, go through all of those. Let's bring it up. Go through each of these, which are currently set for wood, clear that, and set it for essence. And just go around, do that for all those. Come on. There we go. Takes a little while. It's very manual. There you go. Now I stick the DSU into the spot, close the door, and it would drain all of these essence of shards out, put them into the DSU. When that's down to 0, I can go and stick it up on the wall, and we've got shards. Works great. It takes it out of whatever drive those happen to be in, if they're scattered across multiple drives. Using a I/O port, I'd have to go and figure out which drives they're on, which there's no easy way to do that. Take them out, and probably take them all out, put them into an I/O port, and flush them out, and everything else would get sent to a different drive, and then they get sent up there, and it sort of fragment my storage by moving everything to a new location, and it's not great, though it is so much faster. But I felt this is, because it's so much faster, gotta try it. So I've got this set up over here. There's more stuff underneath, but this is the basics. Here's a cell workbench. The key thing is I've got this storage cell that just lives here. It's not part of the main storage system. It just lives in this device. What I do is I tell it only accept essence of shards. So it's now formatted, because of the cell workbench, to only store essence of shards. with this lever pulled towards me, I'll show you this first. Pulled towards me, I can toss it in here. It'll disappear. Now, if I were to watch my system here, they're all gone. These essence of shards. Where they are is over. Where they are is over. Come on, gonna show up yet? Don't tell me something broke. Oh, no, there it is. There's the shards. They're all on this drive. It just sucked them all out of the system onto this drive. Now, if I flip that lever back, well, and don't even do anything. I'll just flip that lever back, toss the cell back into this chest. There, you can see them filling back up again. They're fully full. And there is our empty storage cell. It's now empty. So we've got a way to do the same thing we're doing here with the deep storage units, but with this one cell. And it's fast, and I only have to set the material here once. But now, how does that help with the deep storage units? All right, well, like I said up here, we've got this one set for essence of shards, and it's got a priority of 10, which means it's higher than all the drives, which are at 0. Stick a DSU there. I can now come down here, and again, this cell is currently empty. It's got nothing in it. I toss it in with the lever to the back, and come up here and take a look. All the shards are in this drive now. See? There they are. Come back down and look. And we have an empty cell. So, stuck to the back, what this is going to do, I put this empty cell in here, formatted to whatever material I want. And if I've set up a DSU to accept it, it'll come out empty again, but all the material will be up in that cell. So let's do it for a new thing. What do I got next? Marble. I've got 62,000 marble. All right, let's get a deep storage unit. So we'll do marble right here. We'll say this is for marble, priority 10. Let's put our marble here and stick an empty DSU there, so there's nothing in it. So come out down here to the table and format it for just marble. Lever in the back, chuck it in. There it is. And there's our empty cell again. Just that easy and just that fast. So what is it doing? Let's go downstairs, take a look. We used 2 I/O ports. There's one up here and one down here. And I'm using a little bit more funky locomotion to change the mode of the system. Alright, this first I/O port, it's set to export from our network, from all our drives, into the cell. So the cell is going to come down into the top of it. That's going to land here. And it's going to start filling it from the network. And because it's partitioned to only accept whatever material, in this case marble, only marble will be pulled from the network and into the cell. I've got this set so that it moves it to the output when work is done. So when it has got all the marble in it and there's nothing left to do, it moves the cell to this side. Now the output is on the sides of these boxes, and the input is on the top. So we attach this transfer node to the side, so that as soon as it's done filling the cell and it pops it over here, it gets extracted into the transfer node, and the transfer node starts looking for a place to send it, and it can't send it over here. There's a piece of glass blocking it, so it goes down into the top of this I/O port. This one is set to empty the cell back into the network. So it's going to start emptying, and again, when it's done with all of its work, and it'll move it over to the output. The output will be sucked out through this transfer node and back up to our chest. So what this is doing is, even if our marble was scattered across multiple drives, and I don't know which ones, the first I/O port is going to suck all of it from any drive that it was in into that one cell. It then goes down to the second I/O port, which pulls it all out again. And because we've set up the deep storage unit with a higher priority, that is where it goes. So it sucks it all out of all the drives and pushes it all into the deep storage unit. And then the empty cell is sent up to the top. Now, when I flip that lever, and we won't get down there in time to see it happen, but we'll see the end result. This transfer pipe has moved from this side to this side. Now, if I put a cell in, set for marble, it'll come in here. This one will fill it up with all the marble from the network, put it in the output. The output comes over here and goes out to the chest, sending the cell full of marble to the output chest, should I ever want to extract all of it into a handheld cell. Now the funky locomotion is using something very similar to what we have on the other device. Directly above this block is the lever. So you can see it's currently powered on, so the lever is in the on position. It goes to two places. It goes to a NOT gate, which this input, if it's on, then these three outputs are off. And if the input is off, then the three outputs are on. It just reverses it. We have two pulse formers. The pulse formers, if you remember, when this goes on, it sends a 1-tick pulse out the opposite end. Now this one, because it's going through the NOT, it's basically going to send a pulse when the lever gets turned off. So basically every time the lever gets moved, this bit of red alloy wire is going to light up for 1 tick. We then extend it, and this can probably just be 4 ticks like the others. It doesn't have to be 8. So that 1 tick pulse of this line comes in here, gets extended to 4 ticks, and comes out to the two frame sliders. Now I'm powering both at once, because since there's only one block here, if this one powers on right now, nothing's going to happen. If they both power on, this one does nothing, this one slides its block back over. By the time it gets over there, the 4 ticks are up, and this one's not going to do anything. So basically, every time you move that lever, this moves from one side to the other. So when the lever is on, it's over here. When the lever is off, it is over here. So the lever controls the positioning of this one piece of transfer pipe. And it reconnects when it moves, which I originally had some Ender IO item conduits, and they don't reconnect when they move. In fact, even after moving the piece over here, the stuff was still flowing through that spot down to this IO port. It was as if it never moved, because unlike a lot of the item pipes in the game, the Ender IO pipes don't actually have the object traveling through them. Every time you attach a new conduit, this is the way I think it works. It maps out the whole network so that the source knows where the destination is. So that as soon as you give the source an item, it sends it directly to the destination without actually passing through all the intervening cable. And these things, when they moved the cable, wasn't causing an update so that it would recalculate what it was connected to. You could actually see that the pipe didn't change its shape. It didn't bend like this one does to connect. It stayed straight the way it was over here. But yeah, the transfer pipes do work, and they work just fine. So let me flip the lever again. Oh, it wasn't over the hole. But see, it's slid back over here, and it's now in line with the other I/O port. So as much as I like these monsters, whoops, and I think they look absolutely wonderful in here, they are not as versatile as this one setup over here, which is not as pretty, but maybe I can decorate it. Use something else instead of the lever. That's a carpenter's lever hit with a block of gold just to give it the same motif. So that is another way to move materials in and out of the system and fill up the DSUs quickly and easily. Let's see, what else do I need to move? Let's do the essence of uranium. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that if you shift right-click, you get just one. I wish I had known that ages ago, but now I don't have the reflex for it. I'm trying to remind myself that is an option. Alright, do that. Increase the storage, or increase the priority. Don't look at a carpenter's block when I use my remote. And get a deep storage unit. Shift right click. There we go. Alright. It's in the back position, so it's sending it into the system, or keeping it into the system. Take this, toss it in the chest. It's draining from the system into the cell, and once it's done with that, it sends it back into the system, which puts it all into the deep storage unit. And it's done. Quite nice, quite nice. I like it. So that is the little thing from the past. I will now return you to future me and continue with the episode already in progress. Take it away, future me. Thank you, past me. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do mechanisms 5 times ore processing. So we're not doubling, we're not tripling, we're not quadrupling. We're getting 5 ingots from every piece of ore. And it's a complicated process, but I've got a few tricks. First thing we're going to need is a supply of sulfur. So that's what we're looking at here. This takes cobble. I've got 103 million cobble from a cobble gen I had running for a while, and it was buffering into this deep storage unit. You could hook this up directly to a cobble gen, but since I've got all this, I'm just hooking it up to this. That goes into a pulverizer, which turns it into sand. It'll also sometimes produce gravel. Gravel goes out the top, sand goes to the right, sand goes into this, the enrichment chamber, which turns it into gravel, which goes up the top. So the top, both of these are putting out gravel from the top, which goes into this chest here. Now, because we have iguana tweaks turned on, we have a recipe for flint that is 3 gravel. If we didn't have that, you could pulverize the gravel, I think it was. Let's see, which one is it? Macerate it. Use the macerator from Industrial Craft, or the enrichment chamber. Oh no, that's gunpowder. Yeah, the purification chamber. Though that takes oxygen, but that's fairly easy to get, which I'll show you how to get it shortly, because we'll need it for something else. There's a couple different ways to get flint from gravel. Okay, pulverizer will also do it, and then you don't need any oxygen. And you get a little bit of sand, which you can pipe back through the system. But because we have iguana tweaks, we can use a recipe. So here, every second, I am taking from that chest full of gravel, all the gravel I can grab, and I am crafting it into flint, and I am outputting it to the crusher right next to it. Crusher takes the flint, and that crushes it into gunpowder. The gunpowder is going up and out and down into the top of the IC2 extractor, and when it gets gunpowder, it turns it into sulfur. So there we've got, from cobblegen and power, we've got sulfur. Fairly straightforward, not bad. Here is a new room. Let me show you where we are. Let me run down here until I get the delay as the Botania particle effects come into my field of view. So one of these side hallways, I have now added on a round room at the end. Doesn't have a roof yet, and I haven't lit it all up completely, but this will be our 5x ore processing room. I've got it hooked up to the AE system, which if we drop down here, you can see I've got a tunnel coming up and going to my 3 terminals. And over here I've got a project case with the parts we're going to be needing for this step of the device. Oh, let me put away my... Let me use it once. There we go. Toss away my food calculator. Yummy digits. Num num num. Alright, over here I've got a tesseract with power popping up out of the floor in 3 places here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put down these chemical oxidizers. These are from Mekanism. And I'm putting them, that they get placed so that the gas output is to the left when you place them. So I'm going to move around like this and place them so they all their outputs all go into the center space. And these 2 are powered here, and this one is powered there. Now they take sulfur and turn it into sulfur dioxide, but they're going to need to get the sulfur. So, and it has to go in the back here. So we're going to lay down the item conduits like this. And right here I've got a matching sulfur chest. I'm going to toss that down right here. It is going to be extracting always. And I know the active without signal will always, we'll make it run right now because there's no signal, but I like to use the always active ignore redstone because maybe later on something might be producing a redstone signal here, and I don't want this all of a sudden acting differently. If I want it to reactivate redstone, I will set it to do so. Here we're going to insert, and insert. So now these should all be getting, did I set this one to extract? I did. We are not getting anything. Am I still connected? Yes, I am, because I just opened up a chest. So something is wrong. Oh, wait. That's the input. Excuse me. That side is the input. There. That is the output. So I've got to go around like this and place them. Now you can hear them running too. There we go. So you want the item input on the left and the gas output on the right, where the tank is. So now they're all getting their sulfur, as you can see, and they're creating sulfur dioxide because they all have power. That is going to be going into a chemical infuser. And I need to see which one of these is which, because I was running them before. That one has the sulfur trioxide, and this one has the sulfur dioxide. And these things are making sulfur dioxide, so this is the one I want next. It is placed like so. Alright, so the sulfur dioxide is going to come in on this side from these guys. And this side is going to be getting oxygen. We'll show you how to get that. And it's going to be outputting sulfur trioxide here to the front. So now that we've got the machines placed, we can place this bit of pressurized tube from Mekanism. I place it last because it may not connect to a machine when you place the machine down. But now this, oops. Yeah, don't have it in your hand when you want to open a machine. Yep, that's completely full of sulfur dioxide from these 3 machines. I've done testing. 3 of these is enough to keep this happy. And everything else down the line happy. Now, what this needs next is oxygen. And if I recall correctly, I want to place the electrolytic separator right here. Now this will take water, and it'll produce hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen's on this blue side, oxygen on the red. Same as on the inside. Hydrogen we don't want. We're just going to dump it. That's going bye-bye. But the oxygen we want to come around this corner and into, whoops, well that's okay, into the side of the chemical infuser. And I accidentally placed this, but this is where the sulfur trioxide is going to come out. Now we're going to place... Where is my other one? Oh, it's right here. This is our next machine. This is going to take that sulfur trioxide and combine it with water vapor to make sulfuric acid. To get water vapor, we are going to use a rotary condensator. And I'll place this here. It takes water in from the right and puts out the water vapor, the gas, to the left. If you've toggled the operation, you have to go from water to water vapor. You can see it's now running because it had some water in it. If you leave it the way it is by default, it's to take water vapor and turn it into water, but you want it to go the other direction. And that is going to run through a pressurized tube into that side. Another piece of pressurized tube to get the... come on. Don't have that in my hand. Sulfur trioxide into here. Water vapor. It's making sulfuric acid, which comes out right there. But these two need water. So we've got this. I'm going to put it vertically. This is the reservoir from Ender.io. I need 2 buckets of water to fill it up. Once you've given it 2 buckets of water, it will fill itself. Just like you use 2 water source blocks to make a infinite water supply in the middle. Whack it with a wrench, and that gives it this little icon. It's now pushing its water into this guy and this guy. So they're full up on water, producing their oxygen and water vapor. And that's it. We're now producing sulfuric acid from the sulfur that we're getting from cobble. And all we need is power to do it. Now the nice thing about this design is it stacks. I've got another set of the machine parts. We can come over here and we can stack more on top. So let's do that. There are those. Give them their sulfur inputs. We'll just make a vertical path on each of these. Remember to set it to insert, or they're not going to get any sulfur. They're also going to need power. So let's bring the power stacks up. While we've got it, might as well add this one. We're going to need it in a moment. Again, I had these running, so let me see which one is which. That is the wrong one. So this is the right one. There we go. And it needs electrolytic separator. Up. There we go. After the machines are placed, place the conduits. There's that. And the rotary condensator. Oh, not there. There. And make sure it is going from water to water vapor. Hook that up. Hook that up. I can hook that up. Now we can keep going and adding more and more of these to satisfy however much sulfuric acid we need. Stack another one of these on top. It can probably run more than just these 4 machines, but you know, stacking just keeps it regular. So it's not going down very fast. That's good. Now you may be wondering if you've seen the 5x processing before. What about the salination plants? We're not going to use them. We are not going to use salination plants to do 5x doubling. So how's that going to work? Well, let me make some more stuff, and I'll be back to show you. Or not. Mekanism has changed since I last used it, and I can no longer do what I was doing before to get around doing the salination plants. But salination plants have also changed, so I don't really feel the need to. Before, the salination plants were a bit slow to produce the brine, and you had to have a lot of them, and it was still very slow. So I was using this stuff instead, the sulfuric acid. You could put that into the machine where you put the, was it hydrochloric? No, it's hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride. Instead of using the hydrogen chloride you get from brine, you could use the sulfuric acid and it would work the same way. So I basically used this for both. And because this design scales, I could get as much as I needed. So that was what I used to do. But now we can do it the normal way. So let's get started. We can finish building this setup, which is for the first stage. Let me get all this. The first stage of processing. Whoops. And I'm going to put this right here. This is the chemical dissolution chamber. This is where you're going to put your ore. And it's going to take the sulfuric acid. Whoop. There it goes. And you put the ore in here and it'll turn it into dirty slurry. To get the slurry clean, you need washers. And I've calculated that because you can't speed up the washers, you can speed up all these other machines. I mean, this one I've got cranked up to the max. But you cannot do that with the washers. If I put one down here, you can look inside. See, it doesn't have the upgrade slots. So the only thing you can do is have lots of them, and you need 16 to fully match the speed. At least that was what my last tests were, and I don't think that has changed. The mod author didn't want to make these upgradable because he wanted people to be making big, complicated systems. So I'll make a big, complicated system. We can do that. I like big, complicated systems. If I can do it simpler and more elegant, I will, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of complexity between friends. This is the output line for these two rows. Notice I placed these while facing this direction. They're input on the left, output on the right. And I placed these on this side, input on the left, output on the right. So this line is all output. Now the input line, I'll run around the back like that. And it connects up here. So the slurry from this will go into all the washers. Now the washers, of course, being washers, they need water. So I'm going to put down another one of these. Get a couple of buckets of water. Put two of those in. I can fill the buckets back up. I need a wrench. Wrench it. And now lay out piping. Oop. That makes a lot of particles. So now all these things should be filling up with water. Yep. Well, I think they might have already had water from my previous test, but they should be ready to go. That is set. Now, the next section is the actual processing machines. And we're going to have to figure out which one of these is which. That's enriching, that goes there. Injecting, that's first. Crushing, there. Smelting there. And purifying there. Okay. So that is the order that they go. Injecting, purifying, crushing, enriching, smelting. But the first machine to put down is this one, the chemical crystallizer. And I've got to break this and replace it. There we go. Stop that. So this is going to take the clean slurry that's been washed. You can see I was running yellorium ore through it before. And I'll make crystals. The crystals will go into the... It says smelting in the Wela, but in here it says injecting. That's what it is. It's the injector, chemical injector. And inject some chemicals in there that we're going to make from brine. This one purifies. It needs oxygen. This is the crusher. It needs nothing but power. as do the final two, enriching and good old smelting. And the last step is going to be an output chest to collect all the goodies. I think these lose... No, they don't. They keep their settings. So I've got input on the left, output on the right, and on the back for this one and this one, I've got purple, which is the slot down here, the gas. This one, we're going to be connecting it up the back like that. This runs along to the other side over there, which we'll have to make some machines for that. Bit of glass cover to separate it, and I want to put that down afterwards. I've got to put these down first. And facing this direction, because we have hydrogen, oxygen. It's the oxygen, right? No. Yes? I think it's the oxygen. I think it's just to face this way. Yeah, because I'm dumping the hydrogen, leaving the oxygen. And we have to give it some water, so put down another reservoir here. Get those buckets back. No, I should have kept them. I gotta fill them back up. And push water out. So that's pushing water into this. And this will run the oxygen. There it goes. Oop. Hate that. There, into the back of the purifier. This one's not, well, it already has some hydrogen chloride in it, but it's going to get more in a bit. I think that was just what was in the line in a drain. It's going to come from over here. So let's set these up. Alright, now this one I'll see if I can remember the order for everything. This tesseract is going to be bringing the brine from the salination plant, which we'll build in a moment. That goes into this thing. Yes? I'm trying to remember. Okay, it goes in the separator first. So run over here, put a separator on this spot. Is this the right one? Chlorine, and that one's venting the sodium. Keep the chlorine. All right. So you can put down a fluid pipe, because it's fluid brine. So that goes in there. And then it's gas chlorine that comes out there. Ah, it's got hydrogen chloride in it. Chlorine is in it. And it needs hydrogen. So that's the last machine here, is hydrogen. So the hydrogen side is blue. So we put it over here. Give it a source of water. If I don't break everything. Yeah, okay. Put that back. Get the buckets once more. Just should have kept them. I really should have. And why isn't that showing up properly? There we go. Fill up that bucket. Hit it with a wrench. Now I know I'm done with the buckets. And this gets a connection there. So that should be generating hydrogen. Yes, and the oxygen we can just dump. Alright. The hydrogen is going in here to make hydrogen chloride. Good. Of course, we have no brine coming in because we haven't built that. So this is creating that. It's coming over here. Yep, this should be full up. It is. All right. Off to make the brine. We're getting close to the botany room, so we get the lag. Where am I? Yeah, that lag. I went out into the... Well, let's see, I'll just show you here on the map. Map. That is not where I am. There we go. Right here. This bit of desert is a mixture of biomes. You can see down at the bottom. Some of it's desert, some of it is OWG shrubland. And I wasn't getting the full temperature reading I should. But over here, it's good. So this is where we have the Salination plant to build. Pop over there. Project chest. Get stuff. Those are just some anti-blocks. Just to mark out one edge. And to help me build this, we're going to switch from the wrench to the builder's wand. Whoop. Okay. The center has to be hollow. And we're going to put right here a valve. And the other one will be right here. Input and output valves. This will be for water. I thought I had buckets over here. Well, I always carry buckets with me. I only have one. Is there water close by? That's not right. My map is definitely acting up. Here's some water. Lots of water. I always carry 2 buckets. I don't know what happened to the other one. With 2 buckets, you can always make an infinite source of water and have as much water as you need. Alright. Actually, we're going to put down a temporary block here and that. Get one of these fluid transfer nodes. Then take out the block underneath. And it doesn't look like it's connecting, but it is. And there, it's got water. It's actually putting water in. But this is not fully built, so it's not going to do anything yet. Let's continue building it all the way up 18 high. Total. Bottom to top, 18 blocks. And the top layer is not going to be complete because we need to shuffle things around a little bit. This is where you put the controller. And then you have the solar panels. Like so. Hit this button and it will activate. We're at a multiplier 2.0 because we're in the middle of a desert. Height is 18 and it's going to start heating up. You can see the water is going in. Now to get the brine out, we're going to use that other end of the tesseract and another liquid transfer node, and that should send the brine back home. And that's it. It's done. You can see brine is being generated and it's being pumped out as fast as it's going. It's going to go faster as it heats up. And the one other thing we need here is a dimensional anchor to keep this spot loaded. 1 chunk is good enough because I made sure that it's all within 1 chunk. So turn that off. And we're done here. We're back. In fact, I think it may be completely done. Let's go and check, make sure everything's hooked up right. Get past the... Oh. That was fun. Alright, so we've got this thing making our sulfur, and it's full up ender chest. That feeds these 3, which goes through and comes out as sulfuric acid, which goes into the dissolution chamber. Let us give it some ore. And I still have yellowite ore as the thing I've got the most of, so let's toss that in. See, it turns it into slurry. Slurry goes into the outer rows, which goes into all of the washers. There you see some there. It's probably going in and out at the same speed. So we're not going to see too much action. And then this is all coming in here. See, it's going in very fast. It's actually going in faster than it can handle it with all 9 speed upgrades. And then goes into this machine, which is using the hydrogen chloride to work on it. I made these all elite factories. They don't really need to be, but I did it anyway. It's not that hard. So this one's got the oxygen, and it does the second stage. Then we have third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, and I turned off its output so you can see how much we get. So I put in 1 stack, and this should give us 5 stacks of ingots. So I think it's going to shift. No, I'll have to pull them out. So I'll be right back when it's done. And there we go. 5 stacks of Yellorium ingots from 1 stack of ore. It has worked. I did have to make a few tweaks while I was running. I forgot to set this one to dumping the hydrogen. So when the hydrogen filled up, it stopped. Also, I forgot this one to dump the sodium. So when it filled up, it stopped. That caused a little bit of a backup, which made it good that I was using the factories, because then I can turn on the auto sort and it spreads it out and it runs a lot faster through everything. Though with this thing running all of them at once, I wasn't getting enough hydrogen chloride production to run them all at full speed. It's enough to run several at full speed, but not all. Probably getting a second brine tower and doubling all this, which this should all stack again. That would keep this going at full speed, I think. Also, I needed more water. The washers were actually running out of water. This thing wasn't providing enough, so I added a second one, and that did it. The water climbed back up again, and all of them. So 2 of those. If you use something else, you have to balance it. Though most things probably have about the same speed. So that is it. We've got it all working. I can patch that hole now. 5 times processing. Don't put a different ore in until the first ore is completely through the washers. Once all these pipes are empty, then you can put a new ore into this thing. But if you put one in here while everything's still running, if one of these washers finishes with the first ore, like we're doing the Yellorium. While it's running the Yellorium, I put in some iron here. If one of these is still doing Yellorium and one of them finishes, the one that finishes will start getting iron slurry. And if it pushes the iron slurry out here when this is briefly empty, now this is all iron slurry, and the yellorite slurry will not be able to go into the pipe. And this thing is still waiting for the rest, enough yellorite slurry to make a crystal, but a little bit is sitting in one of these, and so the iron is waiting, but it's blocking. It just comes all tangled, falls into a tangled halt. So yeah, make sure these are all clear before switching ores. Other than that, you can switch ores. So that is it, my friends. 5x processing. Alright, tune in next time and check out the Da Vinci series, which is also going on here, where we try out new mods. This is Nonsanity, signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time.